I could easily go on the indies, wrestle all over, and make a great living. As much as I'm proud of the work I did in WWE, I'm just getting started.
Do you think there was something you could have done that would have led to your contract getting renewed?
I wanted an opportunity. I got the title with Chelsea finally, then the injury. Got back from the injury, was finally getting my footing again, and I got released. It's hard to look back and regret any of it though, because everything happens for a reason.
The tag team championship, how was that never revisited?
They just didn't want to go back to it.
Does acting have a special place in your heart?
My first dream was to be an actress. Then I fell in love with MMA. That's what I was doing when WWE found me. I fell in love with it. I want to be an actress. I want to be a fighter. This is what I'm meant to do.
Mandy Rose says the match you guys had at SummerSlam was her most embarrassing moment.
We were a mess. I don't have many regrets in life, but booking myself to lose that match is probably my only one.
You've only wrestled for WWE. That's a rare thing.
Yeah.
So are you retired as a wrestler?
The next Insight Live is Friday, August 1st to kick off SummerSlam weekend, and it's gonna be a banger. Yes, Sheamus is our special guest for Insight Live in New York City, and I would love to see you there. Grab your tickets at cvvtix.com. That's cvvtix.com, and a lot of people have been asking, and the answer is yes. There's plenty of time to go to both Insight Live and SmackDown. So I can't wait to see you there for Insight Live in New York City, baby.
Great to see you again.
Great to see you again.
It's been a while.
I know. It's been, what? When was the last time we interviewed?
That was WrestleMania 40 weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
In Philly?
That was, yeah, when we were on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun though.
That was so much fun.
I like the live crowd.
Yeah. It's always good with the live crowd.
Interacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But great to see you.
You too.
Is this a new tattoo?
Oh, I have a few new ones.
Oh, okay. But the one in your hand.
Where's my camera? This one?
Yeah, look at that.
Yup. I just got this. And
Very
then
nice.
what else did I get? Oh, I got something on my neck.
Oh, wait a
I don't know which
second.
side it is.
Wow. Well, you got something on both sides of your neck.
It's this side is new. Yeah.
Well, yeah, what is this?
This is like the symbol. It's like grounding, peace. Yeah.
Oh.
A few other things.
Is this
mixed
for
in
like when you punch people, they can see this eyeball coming?
No, you want to actually know what this is? It's a crazy story. My wife and I went and did ayahuasca in the jungle of Costa Rica. And when I was tripping, I saw this triangle with the eyeball in it.
Wow.
And so I like made mental note of it, and I like Googled it after, and I screenshotted one that looked like what I saw. And I was like, oh, I got to get that tattooed on me.
Whose actual eyeball is that?
I don't know.
Well, if you were like, oh, it's my wife's eye or it's
No,
my eye.
this is for my wife. I did get a tattoo for my wife.
Wow, you've been busy.
I've been busy. I've been at the tattoo shop.
Jeez.
I actually was done. I got all this in one day, and I was almost done. And I said to the guy, I was like, oh, wait, I want to get one more. And he's like, okay. And I was like, I want to get something for Tony because he knows my wife. And he's like, what do you want to get? And I was like, just a tiny tea. That's it.
Tiny tea.
Yeah, just a little baby tea.
Where did the plant medicine journey begin? Was that something you've always been into?
Well, no, it wasn't really intentional, to be honest. My wife dove headfirst into it. And neither one of us are like drinkers, or we don't do drugs or psychedelics on the regular at all. So it was kind of out of left field, but she was kind of going through this like spiritual journey and digging deeper into herself, and she stumbled across this resort that she thought was like a yoga retreat essentially in Costa Rica. And then when she called to like book it, because she was going to go do it, they were like, we're actually like a plant medicine resort. And she's like, what? And they were like, yeah, we do ayahuasca. Have you ever heard of it? And she's like, no. So then she went on this like rabbit hole of researching it, and she was like fascinated by the process. And she was like, maybe I should go do this. And so she just booked the trip. I was on the road with WWE still, so I couldn't go. And she came back and she was like, that was the craziest, greatest thing I've ever done. And so then my contract doesn't get renewed with WWE. I have all this free time. And she's like, do you want to go back with me? And I'm like, sure, like I'll try anything once. And so I go, and it was the craziest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
So
it's like the strongest psychedelic, it's made from like tree bark in the forest. It's goes back to ancient tribes all across South America. And essentially it's supposed to be like a healing plant medicine. So you take it, you're in this big room with like 60 other people. You each have your own individual mattress and bucket to throw up in because it's like a purging experience. And you take it and you trip balls, and they play music and wave smoke around and, hit you with feathers. It's like a full encompassing experience. And you have visions. Sometimes they're visual. Sometimes it's just like a feeling or a knowing. And yeah, you do that for 4 nights in a row in the jungle of Costa Rica.
So for the uninitiated like myself,
Yes.
are you seeing something? Is something speaking to you?
It can be very literal and visual. Like you can see stuff. Like I saw this, obviously, or it can be more of just like an understanding. Like most of mine was like just like an innate understanding of like someone is telling me something. And you could say it's your inner self, like it's a different part of your brain you're accessing, it's Mother Ayahuasca, like whatever you want to call it. But like you definitely are more connected with yourself than I've ever been.
Were you scared of?
I was scared shitless.
What you might find when you look inside?
Yes, I was scared of that, but I was also scared of not being in my right mind because I like to be in control and I like to, be sober. And so I was nervous about like being on a psychedelic in general. And so the first night I was definitely like fighting it. And the medicine was like, nah, you're coming with me. And so I was like in this like torment for hours. But then by the 4th night, I had kind of like released a little bit. And so it took me somewhere. And yeah, it was just like very deep knowing of like who you are and like seeing yourself for like who you are.
So what's the underlying message you left there with?
I think for me, it was more like, I was obviously at a pivotal point in my life where I had finished this decade-long journey with WWE and I'm embarking on this next chapter. So I was kind of going for more like clarity, like not to heal some deep wounds inside me. But I ended up coming out of it like understanding that life is going to take you on a journey and you can't always control everything, and kind of just being more at peace with the journey itself, which I've never been good at.
It's that phrase that I love. We hear it all the time. It's like, life isn't what happens to you. It's how you react to the things that happen to you.
100%. And just like, the gratitude. Like I am more grateful for my life now than I'd ever been. And I think mostly just because I never took a minute to breathe or think about what I'd accomplished or where I'd been or what I'd done or whatever. Like I was kind of just on autopilot, like off to the next city, on to the next event. And so it was like the stillest moment of my life since, prior to WWE. And so it was really just a good experience for me to just like be still.
Well, you were thrown into this next chapter of your life.
Yeah.
And it's not like you had time to like set up and prepare. It was just like your contract wasn't renewed. And then it's like, okay, now you got to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not one to like sit in things and sulk. It's very hard for me to do that. I think because I want to be doing stuff all the time. I have a high work ethic and work rate. And so there was no part of me that was going to sit home and cry about not getting my contract renewed. And you know what I mean? Like I have my family. I have my stepdaughters and my wife at home. Like I have so much I want to do. I have a legacy that I still want to leave. As much as I'm proud of the work I did in WWE, like I very much feel like I'm just getting started in my footprint that I want to leave in this world. So like I was excited. I was like, wow, now I get to go pursue those things, because I wouldn't have left the safety net of the company. I had a steady paycheck coming in. I loved everybody there. Like I loved what I was doing. So I wouldn't have left, but I think it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Do you think there was something you could have done in the final 6 months or year that would have led to your contract getting renewed?
Me, I don't know. No, I really, like, I can't even like comprehend thinking of it like that, because it's so serendipitous and like it happened so beautifully that like that chapter closed and now I'm doing all these things that I've wanted to do since I was 12 years old. So like I can't even like look at it like that. Like my brain won't let me. So like maybe, I don't know, like I was training my ass off. I was always on point with my look and my character work. So like I think it was just time. I will say transparently that I was feeling, I felt like I was in a rut for the past like few years of my career there. I felt a little like I needed a change, like a change of pace. And I didn't know what it was. And like I said, like I never would have left on my own merit. But I felt a little bit like I was in like just like a loop, like kind of in purgatory. Like I wanted an opportunity. I got the title with Chelsea finally, then the injury. got back from the injury, was finally getting my footing again in the ring after, you know, coming back from the ACL, and then I got released. So it's like, it's hard to look back and regret any of it though, because I really feel like everything happens for a reason.
How long did it take you to process that?
What, like that conclusion I just came to?
Yeah, like, you know, it came to an end. And then it just like abruptly came to an end.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I'm not getting on a plane this week.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be on TV this week.
To be like completely honest, I probably haven't processed it because I, like you said, like I was right on to like the next. I didn't like sit and sulk or, you know, really feel it that much. I'll have moments where I'm like, wow, being a WWE superstar became my identity. Like I was Daria, the WWE superstar. That's like in my personal life, to my family, to my friends, like that was my identity. And probably because I started when I was 21, like it was who I was. And so that like mindset took a minute to like get rid of. And now, you know, when I talk to people and they're like, what do you do? It's so weird to not say, oh, I wrestle for the WWE.
Oh, what's the answer now?
I make a lot of jokes. I say I'm retired. I say, I'm a stay-at-home house. Like I make jokes. But really, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an actress. You know, I could fall under a lot of categories right now.
Well, you've only wrestled for WWE.
Yeah.
And that's a rare thing.
Yeah.
So are you retired as a wrestler?
It's so cliche because it's like, you know, so many people are like, yeah, like I'm done. And then he's, you know, he's
right. Like Ric Flair's retired 19 times.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, definitely for now. Never say never, but like, right now I feel at peace with that I'm not going to lie. And I haven't said this, but it almost is like an open wound. And if I think about wrestling somewhere else, it's like, I was so loyal to the company. You know, like you said, it was my only home from 21 years old to 31. Like I'm like a ride or die type of person in general. So like, it's weird to even think about doing that, but not there.
Well, they trained you. They brought you up. You were not a pro wrestler before that.
Correct. And so, yeah, that's still in my mind. So I don't know what the future holds exactly, but one thing I feel confident in is that the path I'm currently on feels so genuine to what I've always wanted in my life.
So you're out here in LA right now because you're filming a movie.
Yeah.
So you've filmed a few movies since you left WWE.
I was in Nashville 2 days ago filming another movie, and then LA this week. And then right after my release, I actually filmed a movie like the week after. Don't
you have a tattoo that says Hollywood?
It does.
On your arm?
It does.
On this arm?
Yeah, this arm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sign is about a mile from where we're sitting right now.
I know.
Wow. You should take a picture holding your arm up
next to the
sign.
Hollywood sign. That's a good idea. Photo op.
But does acting have a special place in your heart?
Yeah. Probably my first dream was to be an actress. I was 12 years old. My mom found an acting school like 45 minutes from our house, and she would take me every Tuesday and Thursday night for 3 hours. And it was in this woman's basement, which sounds really creepy, but my mom would sit outside and wait for me and take me home because I wasn't obviously old enough to drive. And I was obsessed. My dad took me to Vegas for this acting convention where I was, you know, doing monologues on stage. Like that was always what I wanted to do. And then I fell in love with MMA as well. And so I was like, when I was 19, I moved to LA, and I was like, oh, I can pursue my acting career here, and I can fight MMA here. And so that's what I was doing when WWE found me. So
everybody has an LA story. Like everyone comes out to LA with a purpose, with a goal, with a dream.
Yes.
What was yours at 19?
19 was to be a movie star and fight MMA simultaneously.
Those are two very separate dreams though.
They are, but they were both equally my passion. It's just MMA was more tangible, and you know, if you want to fight MMA, you just go do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not be good, but you can just go do it.
Well, I mean, by the same token, you can go act in some student film and you might not be good.
True.
And
but
no one will ever see it.
That's valid. I've done a few of those, but someone will find them someday and I'll be mortified. But yeah, no, I was just out here bartending to pay the bills and pursuing my dreams. And
what part of the city were you living in?
So this is a funny story. So I literally packed everything that I owned into my 2-seater car. I had a Camaro at the time, and whatever
Wow.
fit in that Camaro is what was coming to LA. And so I drove across the
out.
country.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I literally had like a couple bags of clothes, and I think I maybe fit like one small TV in the back seat. And I drove out here, and I got here, and I drove around and would run in buildings that had for lease signs on it for rent.
You didn't have a plan.
No. Nope. I saved up $5,000 bartending. I was bartending in Hoboken, New Jersey, which I legally wasn't supposed to, because I think in Jersey you have to be 21. But I was waitressing and bartending.
Don't worry, we won't tell anyone.
Yeah, it's past the time, right?
Statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations is over, right? And so I saved up like $5,000, and I drove out here, and I just knocked on doors and found an apartment right on Hollywood and Wilcox. So like right by Hollywood Boulevard where Madame Tussauds and all that stuff was. Not the greatest area probably to live in, but
there's an In-N-Out really close to there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that one on Orange.
I was always dieting though, because I was fighting.
Sure.
So I never got the In-N-Out, but
you can get it today.
I can get it now. I'm retired, remember?
That's right. What was your plan? Where were you going to sleep that first night?
I would get a hotel last resort, but I did sleep in a hotel for one night. And then I found an apartment that on Hollywood and Wilcox, and it was like, I think $11.50 a month. And I was like, okay, if I get a bartending job immediately, I have enough for the deposit and the first month's rent right now, and then I should be okay. And I ended up not being able to get a waitressing or bartending job for like months and months. So I got hired at Armani Exchange in the Beverly Center. And I was a, salesperson in the store.
That's like the most tourist hotel ever.
Literally.
Mall ever.
Mall ever.
Yeah.
And I hated it because retail is not for me. It's not busy enough. Like I like to be like nonstop. Like waitressing was perfect because like you're hustling, you're bustling, you're going, you're working. But like with retail, like sometimes for hours you're just sitting there like twiddling your thumbs, and I would drive me nuts. But that somewhat paid the bills. And then finally I got a waitressing job in Los Feliz, which I never know how to say that still. Los Feliz? Los Feliz?
I think I don't know. Zeus, how is it? Los
Feliz.
Los Feliz. See, he says it so nice. Well, Los Feliz.
Zeus speaks Spanish. It makes sense.
Fair. So then I got a waitressing bartending job there, and that really helped pay the bills.
And then how did Tough Enough find you?
I was bartending there, actually. It all starts there. It's called Public House. So anyone that's from the LA area, 1739 Public House is the name of the restaurant. And one of my regulars came in one day, and he's like, "Don't you do that UFC stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, I fight MMA." And he's like, "There's this UFC podcast on this network called AfterBuzz TV, and the host quit or whatever, and they're looking for a new host. Like, would you want to host like an MMA show?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah." I was just doing anything to get a reel started or get TV time or airtime. And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'd love to do that." He's like, "All right, cool. Like, I'll give you the guy's info, and you can meet up with him and go down to the studio and audition." It's like, "Okay, cool." So I meet up with the guy, and my audition was to go to Rich Franklin's juice shop in Beverly Hills that he just opened and interview him.
Cool.
So now I'm like, obviously a huge fan of the game, huge fan of MMA.
Rich Franklin's awesome.
Rich Franklin's the man.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, holy shit. Okay, whatever. Fuck it. So fake it till I make it. So I go to this juice shop. I interview him. Afterwards, the guy's like, "You got the job," like whatever. Every Sunday, you're going to come to this studio up in the Valley, and we're going to watch the UFC card. And then you're just going to break it down on a podcast after. And I was like, amazing. This sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
And I did it with these two guys, and we had so much fun. And that was my Sunday every Sunday. And it was an unpaid gig, but it was, good for reps and stuff. And then from there, Maria Menounos owned that network, and her husband. And so I got to meet them going in and out of the studio every Sunday. And they did this thing where they were like, pitch us an idea for the shows. And so I went in there with like this PowerPoint slide, and I pitched them this whole presentation of how we can make our show better. And they were kind of blown away by it. And they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I want to be an actress, and I want to fight MMA." And okay. So they came to my last MMA fight, which was like a very close decision loss, my only loss. And it was very bloody. My eyes were both like swollen shut. My nose was really fat. Like the other girl looked the same way, to be fair. And they were like, "Oh, you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah. Like, this is my life."
Yeah.
And 2 months later, WWE had called Maria and been like, "Hey, do you want to do this Tough Enough show?" And Maria was like, absolutely not. Like
Maria was going to be a contestant?
I don't know if they wanted her to be a contestant or maybe like a host or something.
Hosting, it would make sense.
It would make more sense, but she made it seem like they wanted her for the show. I don't know.
She did have a WrestleMania match.
She did have a WrestleMania match. And had done a bunch of, little like guest spots. So whatever, they called her to do it. And she was like, absolutely not. But I have the perfect girl. So her husband called me the next day and was like, what do you think about WWE? And I was like, well, isn't that the fake stuff? Like, I'm a fighter. And I was so deep into the fight thing. Like that's all I wanted to do. And I had 3 fights at that point. I was just getting started. And he's like, listen, it's a reality show. It's going to be good. It's a competition show. And I was like, oh, it's a competition show. He's like, yeah. He's like, you're going to be competing. The winner gets a contract into the WWE. I'm like, all right, like I'll take the call. Let's do it. So I take the call and one thing leads to another. I end up at the physical portion of the trial in Orlando and the rest was history. I got on the show.
So then when you get eliminated from the show, did they immediately say, hey,
so it's funny.
We got a contract for you.
Yeah. In the 3 weeks I was there, I had fallen in love with it, right? Because obviously I got to know what the sport was about. And I was like, wait a second, I want to be an actress. I want to be a fighter. This is my world's come together.
Yeah.
So I really was like, this is what I'm meant to do. And so when I got eliminated, I was kind of like devastated. So I was like hounding them. Who was it at the time? Canyon Seaman was like the hiring agent at the time. And I was like, yo, I got to get back there. And he's like, oh no, we're hiring you. He's like, just go back to LA and train with Brian Kendrick. We'll pay for it. And we're going to come back out and scout you in a couple months. And I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't believe him, you know? So I went back to my bartending job and I was working at a different bar now. And I'll never forget, I was like waiting the cocktail tables and these 2 guys were at the table and they were like, weren't you just on Tough Enough last night? You were my wife's favorite. Because it was like I landed and I went right to work because I still had bills to pay.
Sure.
And the show didn't pay very much if you didn't win. So that happened and I had like a moment of like, I gotta fucking get back there. Like this can't be it for me. I wanted to do so much more with my life. And so yeah, a couple months later after training with Kendrick, they sent William Regal down to scout me and I showed him I could do a back bump and a front bump and a couple other things. And they were like, okay, you have 2 weeks to move to Orlando.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy that as we sit here right now, there's just 14 dates left on John Cena's retirement tour. One of those, which is right around the corner, is SummerSlam, and that's why I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including WWE, concerts, sports, festivals, and more. So check this out. This is SummerSlam. Tickets start at just $60, and the thing I love is you swipe around here is SeatGeek has your back. Every ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal. Just look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you know that I came through for you guys. Just use the code CVV for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets. Just click the link down below to download the SeatGeek app, and that code will automatically be applied and it'll be ready to go for your next event. Big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode.
Is the dream still to fight in MMA? Like, would you fight again now?
So I can't say no because it has such a spot in my heart, but I will say acting feels more true to what I want in this very moment.
What about, and maybe this is crazy, what if BKFC came around and said, would you have a fight? They have quite a few big names there.
They do. And I do think Bare Knuckle's badass.
Wait, have they already talked to you?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I do think it's badass. So yeah, I can't say never. I have a really great relationship with Invicta and Shannon Knapp, the owner of Invicta, which is like the only longstanding all-female MMA promotion. So I've been doing a lot of fun stuff with them.
Yeah.
And I will say being around the girls and being like in that atmosphere again gives me some crazy nostalgia.
Are you training again?
I will be training while I'm out here.
Okay.
I will say that. Yeah, I am training while I'm out here.
And when you go back home?
We'll see.
Oh.
I haven't scouted the only time I trained MMA in New Jersey was when I first started when I was like 15, 16.
There's someone that has a training facility in and around your area.
the Miller brothers,
Yes.
Jim Miller.
Jim Miller, yes. So
I will say I did take my daughter there a few weeks ago to train.
okay.
Yeah. So never say never.
This might be happening.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
I'm blown away. When I first met you, I said, "Oh, my wife's from New Jersey."
Yeah.
And you said, "Where from?" And I told you, and you said, "Shut up."
I know.
I live there.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like
because Jersey's like it's a big small state.
Right.
Like to drive from one end to the other is like 3 hours.
most people haven't even heard of where my wife's from.
I know. I live up in the woods. Yeah.
Which is amazing. But also, like, you're close enough to go into the city.
It's the perfect spot. Yeah. You know, it's like 45 minutes you're in the city.
What took you to New Jersey? Because you lived in LA. You also lived in New York, right?
Yeah. I lived in Hoboken, right outside of the city.
Right.
Grew up in Jersey, lived in LA, lived in Orlando, lived in Tampa, lived in Fort Lauderdale. I was all over, literally. But then I met my wife. And she was living in Jersey, and she had her 2 beautiful girls, and they became mine. And so it was like, what makes sense for our family? I was living in Florida at the time. So it was like, we didn't have anybody in Florida to, help with the kids, or it just was like more sustainable for our lifestyle, I think, to like take it back to Jersey. And so then we started looking at houses, and I really liked like being back in like the small town feel, and it felt right for where I was in my life and where we are in our lives.
How long after that scary incident at your house with the attempted kidnapping did you go, I can't live here anymore?
In that house?
Yeah.
Immediately. Well, it's funny because so me and Mandy are like sitting on the front lawn being like interviewed by the police. And then once we were done, they were like, why don't you take some stuff that you need and, go find somewhere else to stay because it's a crime scene now. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. And so I'm like, okay. So me and Mandy went in and I packed a bag, and then we, we talked to WWE and they were great. And they were like, we'll book you a hotel. And I was like, I want to sleep in my bed. Like I was under the impression that I would be right back in that house. And then nightfall came and we ran back there for something, and I like couldn't even open the front door. And it was like, it took me by surprise because earlier that day when my adrenaline was high and I was still like probably in fight or flight mode, I was under the impression I would go right back to my house as soon as the caution tape was down. And then, nightfall came and I couldn't even go out my front door. It was too close to home. Yeah.
I think a lot of people read the headline of like, this was a stalker. But when you read a little deeper into it, like this could have gone really bad.
Yeah, I'm the luckiest person on the planet. I tell people all the time, and when I retell the story, people often have the opinion of, wow, you got really lucky, because if one thing went differently, me or Mandy or both of us would not be here right now. So
this guy was there to kidnap you, harm you?
Yeah.
Maybe worse?
Yeah. His whole thing was he wanted to be my boyfriend, I guess, and he was mad that I wasn't into his gender as a whole. And so he
had no shot.
He had no shot, and he was angry about that.
Had you ever corresponded with this guy?
No, never. Well, okay, so funny story. So, I guess it's not funny, but I think it's funny now. Hindsight's always
sure. He's in jail.
Yeah, he's in jail. So essentially, my ex-girlfriend at the time had gotten some creepy messages from a fan, and she was able to see her messages because, she wasn't getting a ton of fan messages. He was deep in my request folder. Like, I'd never seen his messages to me, which he had been sending for 3-4 years. But she saw a message and she was like, hey, Daria, this is concerning. He has my address. He had her address, her mother's house. And he had sent the address and said, I know where you live. I'm coming to get Daria, and I'm going to kill you.
Whoa.
So I saw that, and I actually sent it over to WWE and was like, hey, like, this is concerning. And, I guess tried to trace it back, and nothing came of it. And so we all kind of thought nothing of it. This is another, scary fan. And then 2 months later, he was in my living room.
He was in your living room? Like, he didn't knock on the door? Or?
No, like the break-in, I mean.
Wow.
Like the break-in happened 2 months later.
Oh my
to my house.
Yeah.
So I had responded.
And you were home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I had responded back to him on my ex's account saying, you have the wrong address, idiot. Because I was so scared that this guy was going to show up at her house and try to hurt her. But by doing that, I let him know that he had the wrong address. So when he broke in 2 months later, it was to my address. And Mandy slept over that night. We were filming in Tampa or Orlando at the time. It was during the pandemic. I forget. For a period of time, we were in Tampa, and then the other period of time, we were in Orlando. So we were close by, and so Mandy slept over. And we went out to dinner. We went to Ocean Prime. We had a great night. We come back to my house, and we're watching Bates Motel on the couch, which was not the greatest show to be watching right before that. But and we're just hanging, and Mandy fell asleep on the couch. It was like 1 a.m. or something like that, or maybe like midnight. And I was dozing off on the couch, and I was about to just let us both sleep on the couch because it was very comfy couch and we were so tired. But I was like, no, let me wake Mandy up and tell her to go to the guest bedroom. So I'm like, get up, friend, like go to the guest bedroom. I went to my bedroom. Thank God. I grab my phone as I'm falling asleep. I turn on the alarm system from my phone. I throw my phone in the bed, and it was pitch black. 2:43 a.m. I think it was. I hear my alarm system going off. And I'm like, what the fuck? Now my room's pitch black. My phone is somewhere in the bed and I can't find it. I'm freaking out. So I get up and I run to the alarm panel on the wall outside of my room, and it says living room door open. And so my immediate thought was Mandy must have went outside. She must have not thought I set the alarm. Maybe her boyfriend called or something and she ran outside. So I run into her room and she's fucking dead asleep. And I'm like, okay, well, if Mandy's not outside and it says living room door open, what the fuck is going on? So I started screaming. I'm like, Mandy, get up, get up. And she's like coming to, and she's like, what? And I'm like, stay there. So I leave her there because it's at the back of the house, and I run to the living room by myself. I turn on all the lights, and my blinds are drawn over the 2 sliding glass doors. So I don't know which one's open. There's 2 different doors. They're kind of like perpendicular. So I'm like, fuck, well, let me check the one that I always use. That's probably the one that's open. So I go to the small one and I peel back the curtain and the door's shut, and I'm just like checking the lock. It's locked. What I didn't realize, and I have interior cameras at the time, so you can see this footage online, but when I ran, I'm sorry, I missed a part. When I'm going to check the lock, I look up and the man is standing right at the door, like as close as you are to me right now.
Wow.
So he has a black mask on, a black backpack, all black clothes. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, I scream. I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Like, I'm thinking like, first, you're thinking like, did a neighbor lose its dog? Like, then I see the mask and I'm like, something's off. And then he advances towards the door. And if it was a burglar, it was a robbery, like alarms going off, the homeowner's there, like you would run, right? You don't want to get caught.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, it can't be a robbery. Like, so as soon as he advances, I run to grab Mandy to tell her like, holy shit, there's someone in the house. We run out the garage door next to Mandy's bedroom and take off in her car that was parked behind my car. Come to find out.
And you call the police at that point?
The ADT system called the cops automatically.
Okay.
But we also did call the cops. They were there within like 3 minutes. So we circled around the neighborhood and then we saw all the cop cars come. But they came in like lights off, sirens off, like quiet. Now, I don't know where this guy is at the time. The whole time I'm running to Mandy's room and out the garage door, I'm like waiting to get hit over the back of the head with like a bat or something. Like, I don't know what's happening. Well, what actually happened was when I ran, he already had the other door open, but he had a little blind spot when he had to cross through the curtain. So he thought I ran up the staircase, but I ran behind the staircase to Mandy's room and out the garage. So when the cops got there 2 minutes later, he was waiting at the bottom of the staircase with a knife in one hand, pepper spray in the other hand, looking up. And they fucking tackled him and got him out. So when they asked him, like, why were you waiting at the bottom of the staircase? His response was, I thought she went up there and I know she has MMA training and I didn't want to get my ass kicked. So I was going to wait till she came down and pepper spray her.
Oh, man.
So, like, this whole thing's unfolding. I'm still not understanding what's happening. So the cops come up to me and they're like, what do you do? Who are you? Because they didn't know anything about wrestling. I was like, oh, I wrestle. Like, do you know this guy? He's saying he knows you. And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, he's saying he messages you on Instagram. So then they're having me look up his name. And then I find his messages. And it's like 4 years worth of obviously unresponded to scary DMs, all the way to the extent the last message was that night when he was on my patio. And it said, I'm here, baby girl. I'm finally here. Oh. Look outside. While me and Mandy are watching Bates Motel, he said, look outside, baby.
He's watching you.
He's on the screened-in lanai that he cut a hole in and crawled in, watching us through the blinds. So, like, you can't really see out, but you can see in kind of gimmick. He's watching us through the blinds, watch TV.
That is terrifying.
So, yeah, crazy story.
You are both so lucky.
So fucking lucky. Like, one thing happened differently. Like, had we slept on the couch, he had the door open. The door's right behind the couch. We would have both been maced before we could even wake up. Had I not set my alarm that night because I was being lazy and just went to sleep, which I've done many nights, we would be dead. Like, one different move in any scenario, we wouldn't have made it.
So now the guy's locked up for 15 years.
15 years.
And I'm sure this is something you think about a lot.
Okay, so the couple years following this situation, like, yeah, I thought about it all the time. It was like, it controlled my entire life. But now, I feel like I've moved on from it.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
So is that part of the reason where you're like, I'm kind of glad to leave Florida behind?
Yeah, like that house specifically, like I kept the house for a little while. I rented it out and then I sold it, but it didn't leave a stain on Florida itself because the guy was from South Carolina.
That's also crazy. He drove from South Carolina.
Yeah. He drove from South Carolina to Florida after his shift at Applebee's got done. Parked in a church a mile from my house and army crawled through the wetlands behind my gated community. So, like, it really wasn't Florida. It was him.
Clearly.
He was going to find me wherever. You know what I mean? Like, it was that type of thing. But yeah, like, being where we are now, I've never felt more secure. The dogs help, we've put a lot of precautions in place to live a different lifestyle and feel safe. I'm
so glad that story has that ending.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I'm very grateful. I'm very lucky. And I think about it all the time. I often feel bad for victims of stalking that don't have that ending because some people, stalking is a serious issue in the United States specifically, where these women specifically are hounded and stalked by these people for years. But if they don't cross a certain legal threshold, you can't get them detained. So they're leaving stuff in their mailbox. They're showing up at their front door. You've heard the stories even with other women wrestlers, like, but you can't do anything about it unless, I know it's weird to say, but like him breaking into my home and actually attempting something allowed me to put him in prison for 15 years.
Yeah, then he broke all of these other laws, right?
Right.
That allowed for that to happen.
But some of these women deal with the threat and the fear of this for years.
Man.
So it's like, it's a double-edged sword, but.
Well, this makes for a great story on your podcast. Congrats on that.
Yes, thank you. Very
Unwrapped.
exciting. Yes. It's funny because it kind of rolled out like right after I got released and people were like, how did you do that so fast? And I'm like, no. We were already setting up the podcast before I didn't renew my contract with WWE. I was just going to do it as like an Instagram podcast. We were going to do it just on Instagram because there's, at WWE, if you do a podcast, you have to go through them. They have to allow you to do it. And it gets crazy. So we were just going to do it on Instagram for fun. And then I got released and I was like, well, we're going live with it.
What's the idea behind your podcast?
So it's just supposed to be a modern lifestyle, relatable podcast, but with two women. So like the irony is like, we aren't so traditional, but at the same time, we are so normal. And so we talk about parenting. We talk about our chickens and our ducks and our homesteading. And
you have chickens and ducks?
Yeah. You got to tune into the podcast. And, we talk about relationships and love and marriage and sex and all the things that people, I think, have been wondering about me for years, because I think I'm still a bit of like a phenomenon to some people. Like, oh, she's in this lesbian relationship, especially in the wrestling world. It's not that prevalent. And so we're answering a lot of the questions people have been asking for years.
Did you think it was a big deal when you were on Tough Enough and you were openly gay?
No, I was scared at first because I was like, oh, are they going to want a lesbian in the WWE? Like, I was so naive at the time and young, and I just didn't know what it meant when they asked me the question on Tough Enough, like, are you in a relationship? I was kind of like shitting bricks because I was like, is there a wrong answer here? Like I wasn't comfortable with myself at that point, so I didn't know if it was going to like tarnish my chances. But then it became just this thing that was a big deal to a lot of people, and it didn't feel like a big deal to me. I was like, oh, like, okay, it's cool. And I'm getting all these amazing messages and people feel seen, and I'm now becoming unintentionally this, safe spot for other wrestlers or other, younger people watching me. But none of that it was a very unintentional path. It was kind of just me starting to become confident with myself, but it happened to be in front of, live cameras. So,
well, at your core, I mean, you're a badass. Like, I think that
right.
That's what people see.
Right.
They just see you being a badass. I don't think anything else really matters beyond
that's how I feel.
That's
strongly how I feel. And so, it kind of became my identity for a little while because of the coming out and being public and stuff. And then as I got older, I really started to try to just be seen as Daria or Sonya Deville. I was proud to represent the community, but at the same time, I didn't want my sexuality to like identify my career,
Yeah. When you're speaking about just like having this identity, I feel like when you first came into WWE, it was like, she used to be an MMA fighter. That's the character that you're going to play now.
Yeah, it very much was so. And because it was the natural fit, right? And the notion behind my hiring was kind of explained to me like, we're legitimizing the women's division. And with that, we want athletes and fighters. And so I was kind of the first female MMA fighter to be brought on. So I was like, I just got to be me. And that's what I did in NXT. And then when I got to the main roster and kind of felt like I had done it and it was time for a change. And so I slowly started getting in touch with a different side of myself and kind of creating the Sonya Deville character that you came to see. But really it was funny because when I got hired, I was this like ass kicker, right? And there was no need to like give me a mic because I was just there to kick ass. And then I started asking for promos because I knew I had taken acting classes and, that side of it was actually where I was more comfortable. And so I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be a character. And so Vince finally gave me the opportunity during the pandemic era in the Mandy storyline. And I was able to cut some, lengthy promos. And that was kind of when Vince gave me the nod of approval and was like, oh, she can talk.
There was a lot of depth to the Mandy Rose storyline.
Yeah.
So you guys were going to have a hair versus hair match.
Mm-hmm.
Who was going to get their head shaved?
Me.
Well, really?
Yeah. Yeah. The Bruce Pritchard pitched it to me and he's like, we're going to do hair versus hair, you and Mandy. You're going to shave your head. You're going to turn into like this G.I. Jane character and you're going to just plow through the division.
How did you feel about shaving your head? I
was scared. I just didn't want to be ugly. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to look like with no hair. I was like using like, this was before AI was that big, but I was using like this editing software to like edit a bald head on myself. And it was all very traumatizing, but I was down. I told him yes. I was like, let's go. Let's do it.
So instead what we got was you chopped quite a bit of Mandy's hair off.
I did.
Or maybe her extensions.
Some real hair got in there. She ended up with the soccer mom haircut. As they said, soccer mom Mandy was trending. But that was the build to the hair versus hair. So, that was to antagonize her so that when she got her retribution on me and shaved my head, it was kind of full circle.
So that was one take when you cut her hair.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we did have to start over, but it was before I cut the hair, because Mandy had a nip slip. Her whole boob came out, and thank God.
Oh my gosh.
I actually yelled cut because had I not yelled cut and had I cut her hair, we couldn't have used the take. I don't know what we would have done. Maybe put more extensions in or something, but it would have been a shit show. But I was like being aggressive with her, of course, and like roughing her up, and I took her top off somehow with my arm.
What a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, her boob's out. And so I yelled cut, and I was like, thank God we were able to restart it before the hair was cut, because that would have been a nightmare. Yeah. So we did. It was 2 takes, but only one of the hair.
She says the match you guys had at SummerSlam was her most embarrassing moment ever. How do you feel about that match?
She said that?
She couldn't set up the table, and she's struggling.
I forgot. Yeah.
She's struggling so hard to get the table set up.
Yeah, it's not my favorite match. It pisses me off still because it's my favorite storyline I've ever been a part of, and I think it's some of the best work I've ever done with promo and character work, and even the whole lead up. But yeah, we were a fucking mess. Not to make excuses, but the attempted kidnapping happened 2 nights before SummerSlam. Vince wanted to scrap the match on our behalf. I told him absolutely not. Like, we worked this hard and this motherfucker's not going to ruin our moment. And so we scrapped the hair versus hair because I had to like go to court and testify the next day. And I was like, I'm probably not in the right frame of mind to be bald right now during all this. Like there was too much to process. And he agreed. And he was like, well, it's kind of a crazy story. He was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I got to think of something equally as, high stake.
Another stipulation. So I came up with the loser leaves town. And so we get to work that day and the producers come up to us and they're like, okay, it's now a loser leaves town match, but Daria is going to go over. And it's weird because the producer and Mandy felt like that wasn't the right move because Mandy was supposed to be the babyface coming out of this. I was obviously the heel. And I had been kind of kicking her ass the whole angle. And so I agreed with them. And so I actually went to Vince and Bruce and got the ending changed. I said, sir, I think Mandy should win because I have a way to get me back from a loser leaves much better than we could get Mandy back. I said, why don't I come back as like a schizophrenic the next week? And you're trying to tell me that, I don't work here anymore and I lost, but I'm under the impression that I'm somebody else. And we go with this whole angle. And Vince's exact words were, I fucking love it. God damn it. You could be hanging from my chandelier in the office, swinging around. And I was like, okay. How come everybody can do a Vince?
He's so easy to imitate because it's just such a signature voice. But yeah, that. And I was like, okay, I didn't see it like that. I didn't see me hanging from your chandelier, but sure. And so we were on the same page. It was all good. Mandy was going to get her comeuppance. I was going to get an amazing character arc out of it and all was going to be well. And then the loser leaves happens and I'm not needed for TVs like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months, like all this time's going by and I'm texting Bruce, I'm texting Vince. I'm like, hey guys, what's the deal? I thought I was coming back right after. It's the only reason I agreed to lose was because we had this cool angle to come back and bring me back.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, just stay tight, hang tight. And then all of a sudden, finally Bruce says, after second thought, you lose a loser leaves, we have to honor the stipulation. So you have to stay gone for a while. And I was like, oh, well, why didn't you tell me that when we discussed this? And I would have much rather have won then and gone on, but I kind of kicked myself I don't have many regrets in life, but booking myself to lose that match is probably my only one. And it was like a running joke when I came back in the writer's room with like the head writers, they kind of busted my chops and were like, remember that time you booked yourself to lose a match when we were trying to push you? And I was like, so much like you don't know behind the scenes because they're not, you're not having these conversations like, hey, when you win this one, we're going to push you and we want Mandy to, like she's going to go in a different direction. You're going to go in a different direction. So it wasn't that transparent. So I didn't really know what I was doing to myself at the time. So I ended up sitting home for 5 months. Then I come back, I go into Vince's office. I'm like, hey, sir, what are we doing? I'm like, what do we do now? He's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I have these really cool suits in my hotel room and I think it'd be cool to have like a boss vibe to me. He kind of looked at me and was like, where are the suits? And I was like, they're in my hotel room. He's like, send a runner to go get them. And I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? And he didn't tell me anything. He's like, you're going to walk down the hallway in a suit and superstars lined on both sides and they're going to be clapping for you. And you just walk down. And I'm like, and then what? That's it. Okay. So I put my suit on, getting hair and makeup. And if you go watch it back, my return was I walked down the hallway in a suit with superstars lined on both sides. And then that slowly evolved into the GM character with Pearce.
This episode is brought to you by ZocDoc. When was the last time you needed to go to the doctor, but you just pushed it off? You made the excuse, I'm too busy, it'll heal itself, I'll just walk it off. I think we've all been there because making a doctor appointment can feel so daunting. But thanks to ZocDoc, there's no reason to delay. They make it so easy to find and book a doctor who's right for you. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click instantly to book an appointment. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can also score same-day appointments. I use this and you should too. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/insight to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/insight, ZocDoc.com/insight.
I think we got the best work from you when you were the authority figure.
I agree. It was probably the highlight of my career.
You were just so effortless on the mic.
Yeah.
And it all makes sense when you know that you had a dream of being an actress when you were 12 and you were going to acting school. It all makes sense.
Yeah. It's where I felt most confident.
Yeah.
100%.
We just got some really good stuff, and like you had the freedom to really like take some chances with that character.
Yeah. It was cool. I had so many crazy pitches for that character. Like, and Vince would always say, "We're not booking Adam Pearce versus Sonya Deville at WrestleMania." So, because I always wanted to like push the limit with Adam, but there was no payoff for him. You know, there was no like, he couldn't come back. So we couldn't go too far with it, but I did get to slap him that one time.
And what a slap.
Yeah.
Like
he took it like a champ.
You put a lot into that. You put some mustard on that.
I did. He's tough. He was like, lay it in. I was like, okay, careful what you ask for.
I love his reaction because it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's so great. He does such a great job at the GM character too.
When you were about to deliver that slap, were you like, this is it? I got one shot.
Well, yeah.
Better be great.
I told him, and he said it too. He's like, lay it in. And I was like, I'm gonna. Like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
And for some reason, people forget he's a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, he's tough. He's fine.
There's a lot of fans that just know him as the GM and like, that's it.
Right.
And they don't know that he has this incredible career in the ring.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Like, this is not the first time he's been slapped.
No, but there's something about a slap still in pro wrestling that's just like, it just sucks. It's never good.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people that are probably better at delivering them delicately, but I like it to look, you know, I want it to be real.
I don't think anybody's delivering slaps delicately.
Some people like check them, I feel like, but yeah, no. I mean, I feel like the way to do it, you just got to fucking slap them. But there's no working it. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting slapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had some great work with Liv as well.
Yeah. I do love my matches with Liv.
Are those your favorites?
Yeah, they are my favorite. You know, when it comes to like getting my footing on the wrestling end, I felt like the 5 months off after the kidnapping, and then the year with the ACL, and then the almost 2 years as GM. I don't think I ever did the best that I could do. Like, I feel like I was still on the precipice of getting into my athletic prime. Like, I don't think that I delivered on what I could deliver on. But maybe I'm just stubborn, and maybe I'm just like,
untapped potential.
Yeah, I do think. I do think I say like the best is yet to come, because I do think there is something left there. But yeah, I feel like it was kind of a series of unfortunate events. But at the end of the day too, like, I do feel like my natural calling is a performer. You know, I think being on the mic and developing the characters and the acting portion of it was probably always going to be more for me.
You won the tag team championship with Chelsea Green.
I did.
You got injured, so now you're out of that.
Yep.
How was that never revisited? Like, if you were her tag team partner, when you come back and you're healthy again, how are you not her tag team partner anymore?
They just didn't want to go back to it. And I had pitched that, you know, it would be a natural an angle to go after Piper and, you know, and be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Bitch.
That's my championship.
That's my fucking championship. Like, very natural angle. But they had this idea for this faction. And so that was where we were going to go. And I did pitch, I will say, while I was out, I did pitch coming back in my MMA gimmick, or like a modified version. But I did pitch going back to my roots. And I think Triple H had the same kind of idea. And he was like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's do this group. Then when he told me the group, I was like, okay, interesting. Like, I didn't know how the three of us were going to blend together. I think.
Who was it?
Me, Zoe, and Shayna.
Yeah.
In PFC.
Okay.
So I was open-minded to it. And of course, like, whatever he wants, let's do.
Three badasses.
Yeah. And, you know, I saw myself more as like the mouthpiece in that scenario. And I was like, oh, okay. But we couldn't get our footing. And then we were given the name Pure Fusion Collective. And I thought that was terrible. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it was ever going to be the thing, but we tried to make it work.
Yeah. Well, and that's all you can do. You can just try to make the best of what you're given.
100%.
And I feel like you've been really good at that throughout your career.
Thank you. I try.
So if wrestling's behind you, at least for now,
Right.
is the focus completely on acting?
Yeah. It's what I want to do right now. And being on set of these few movies that I've been filming, and that's why I'm here in LA. It's like very full circle, and it's very obvious that it's where my heart's at right now.
What's the dream role for you one day?
Probably like a action thriller, femme fatale, circa Angelina Jolie, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes. Like,
Well, look, you can do your own stunts.
yes, I can.
Someone's going to be watching this.
I'm not gonna lie. Yes,
that
someone
is
is.
making a movie, producing a movie,
Yes.
directing a movie, looking for a co-star in their movie.
Facts.
So they'll just reach out to your people and
That's it.
maybe there'll be a script waiting in your inbox.
That would be amazing. Let's manifest it. I actually did my first stunt yesterday on set, or 2 days ago.
What was
2
it?
days ago.
And can you tell us?
So I can't tell you about this film. This one's not. This one's under wraps right now. But I will say I had to. This guy was like 6'3", 300 pounds, and I had to take him down and essentially arrest him. So that was really fun.
Okay.
We had the stunt coordinator on set. It was really fun. So that was kind of like blending the old world with the new world a little bit.
What is the movie you can tell us about?
I can, the one I can. So I'm doing, there was a deadline, so I can talk about it. Doing a holiday film. You might see a fellow WWE legend in his own right, Mick Foley, in there.
Wow.
So yeah, Mick Foley and Sonya Deville in a holiday film together. Who would have thought? But
For this Christmas?
so I don't know if it'll get out before this Christmas. Actually, I don't know. But we just filmed it. I was just in Nashville filming it. Really, really fun.
Nobody loves Christmas more than Mick Foley.
Nobody loves Christmas more than Mick Foley, and he's sitting there and he's showing me like the homemade Christmas cards he makes for people. I mean, he's just incredible. He's one of the nicest, most genuine human beings I've ever met. And so to hang out with him on set for the day was awesome.
Can you tell us the title of this?
Yeah, I think the title's, it's fine.
Could we the title that's out there? Maybe the title changes.
It's The Heartbreak.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really
Kid?
cute. What?
Heartbreak Kid?
No. Oh my God, yeah. And there's some really funny, like if you know things in there that I think wrestling fans are really going to like.
So it's all in right now on acting
Yeah.
and maybe dipping the toe into MMA,
Maybe.
but that's just
We'll
for like a good workout.
Right now, yeah. I'm doing something with a fighter in LA this week. So we'll see how I feel after that training session. I think that'll be the determining factor.
Like when you get bit by the MMA bug, it doesn't go away.
No, it's really like it really is like such a big part of like who I am in my heart and shaped. I was training when I was 15 and I put a pause when I was 20. But
Do you still watch?
I do.
Like UFC 318 was last night.
I
you
didn't.
watch?
No, I didn't. I was sound asleep because I filmed the day before. But
Yeah.
it
is very late.
it is, right?
Yeah, it's like I was at 10 o'clock East Coast
I'm
time.
not that cool anymore. Yeah.
I feel you.
I'm like, I gotta go
I
to
also
bed.
have kids.
You do.
Yeah.
So it's like, you get it.
Oh,
it's like you gotta go to bed.
8:45 comes around and we're like, it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah. You watch the highlights on YouTube or on TikTok
Absolutely.
or something. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I keep up, but I've been doing some commentary at Invicta. So I watch those girls a lot and try to keep track of the girls.
I just appreciate how you follow your passions because a lot of people have a dream when they're 12 years old and it's
Right.
just a dream.
Right.
And they don't ever even take the first step towards it.
Yeah.
What at that age allowed you to go, I love this thing. I'm going to see how far this can take me.
I wish I could say it's some like beautiful thing, but I just like, I can't imagine living life in a way that I wasn't like fulfilled in terms of like my passion and my journey. Like I can't imagine clocking into work and not loving what I do. And I think the risk for me of not making it, was worth the reward of living out my true dreams. And I have this like stubbornness to me where I don't know if I'm naive or ignorant, but I think that the only difference between succeeding and not succeeding is just not giving up. Like I do think at some point anybody could succeed at what they want to do.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of outlasting the failures and like the bumps in the road.
Have you heard this, that like discipline and regret, right? They both weigh something.
Yes.
Right? And you're going to have them. They're both painful.
Yes.
But discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons.
100%.
Right? It's like, just go for it.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. It's like quality of life is everything. Like, and if you have I'm so blessed to be in this country and to be in the position I am where I can, like, I'm going to be okay if things don't work out. And so, and I know not everybody has that luxury, but what's the worst that can happen? And even with the acting thing, like, I think about it all the time. Like, I could easily go on the indies right now and wrestle all over and make a great living, and with the likes of Matt Cardona and Shotzi. And I'm not saying I would never do that, but like, my heart wants to act right now. And so although the easier path would be continue down the wrestling world, it's like, I'm trying really hard to stay true to what I want.
Have you done the autograph signings yet?
I've done a few. Yeah, I have.
I'm sure the fans are excited to see you.
They are. And
especially if you don't do it a lot.
Yeah. The question is like, when are you going to wrestle again? And I also like, I want that for them to an extent too, but I think it's time to like, for the first time, do what like Daria wants to do,
What was this random match you had with John Cena?
Oh my God, that's really funny. This is the craziest fucking story. So we're at Madison Square Garden for an untelevised live event. And the card was Bayley and Elias versus John Cena Nikki Bella. And I was in some other like 6-woman tag match or something. And so we get to the arena and we get to the venue, and something happens. I forget why Pam couldn't perform that night. Bayley couldn't perform that night. I don't know if it was like an injury or like something happened where she couldn't perform that night. She was all upset because she was excited to wrestle John Cena and Nikki Bella at Madison Square Garden, of course. And so I'm just like bopping around the ring, and producer comes up to me, or no, Nikki comes up to me, I think, and was like, "Girl, I'm so excited to wrestle you tonight." And I was like, "What?" What? She was like, you're wrestling me and John tonight. And I was like, shut the fuck up. So I went and found the producer, and I was like, "I'm wrestling John Cena and Nikki Bella tonight." And they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just coming to find you to tell you." And I was like, "Well, Nikki already found me." And I was so fucking nervous. So nervous. I was like, oh my God, I cannot. I was 2 years into wrestling. I mean, maybe 3. And I'm wrestling John Cena and Nikki Bella at the Madison Square Garden. Like, my whole family was in attendance. And so I was walking around and waiting for them to, tell me what they wanted me to do or needed me to do. And John comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, what's your top 5 biggest moves?" And I was like, a high kick. And I'm like telling him my stuff. And he's like, "Okay, cool. Just listen to me out there." And I was like, "Do I need to know anything?" And he's like, "Nope. Just listen." I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I had heard that like he doesn't plan a lot, and he just talks in the ring. And of course, I knew that. But I was like, but I don't need to know anything. Like, I don't need to be prepped for anything. And he's like, and then Nikki's like, "You know how to take my finisher?" And I was like, "Of course. Like, I've been watching it, like Alabama Slam, it's all good." So I was like, "That's it. That's it." Sure enough, I make my entrance. I'm standing on the apron. It was known that they were going to start. John and Elias were going to start. And sure enough, he's working with Elias. He gets him in a headlock and he goes, "Sonya," just like that, like clear as day. "Hey, when I tell you, you're going to knock Nicole off the apron." And I was like, "Okay." And I'm like on the apron like a puppy dog, like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, John Cena." And he like throws him off and he goes, "Now." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I run across the ring and I hit Nicole off, and come back and he's like, "We're going to do that again." And he gets him in a headlock again. And he's talking to me again. He's like, "We're going to do that one more time." And I'm like, "Okay." We do it 3 times. And then the end was, I think I took her comeback, and he called that to me. And she kind of told me in the back, like maybe a couple clotheslines and then this, but we'll tell you. And, so then he was telling me, and then.
So he's calling you from the apron?
No,
as you're wrestling? He's
in for the hot tag.
Yeah.
I'm on the apron. And then he's telling me there, and then she's talking to me.
Wow.
So then I'm taking Nikki's comeback, and then we did a little thing at the end. I took her finisher, and yeah, that was the story of me wrestling John and Nikki at Madison Square Garden.
That's crazy that you went into it not knowing the structure of the match at all.
It actually, I'm not going to lie, it took the pressure off, because I was like, I can't fuck up and not remember something, like he's going to just tell me what to do. All I have to do is listen.
But then is there not pressure of like, if he tells me to do something and I don't do it in the way that he expected me to do it?
Yeah, he's pretty direct and he's pretty, like, he's a smart guy. And so he knows how to say things so that you can't mess him up. He's a pretty foolproof person. So he,
there's been a lot of clips online of like John Cena calls matches very loud, calls moves very loud.
he does, but like, it works. Like he's John Cena. Like it's incredible. He keeps it simple and he's very direct and clear when he's talking to you, and the crowd goes fucking nuts. And he does it for a reason. Like obviously he's listening to the crowd, not just pre-planning a bunch of spots.
Man, that's a lot of things going on in his head then. Like listening to the crowd, being present as I'm doing this move, but thinking about what this person who's standing on the apron, what they're going to do.
He's next level. I mean, there's a reason why he's the top of the top. Like,
he's John Cena.
He's John Cena. He's so intelligent. I heard this in an interview once and it's so true. Like John doesn't waste a word. He doesn't say anything he doesn't mean. And he doesn't like, he's not the kind of guy that's going to sit here and ramble and say, you know, I mean, you've interviewed him, I'm sure. Yeah. He doesn't, there's no wasted words.
I'm blown away by the way he texts too.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
He's a good texter.
Well, it's just never, it's not like one word or two words. It's like an extremely well thought out paragraph.
That tracks.
Right.
That makes sense.
Like it could have just been like, good job, man. Thumbs up. Good to see you. It's like a paragraph of like.
No, he's so good.
You're like, this guy he's John Cena.
100%.
He has no time to be sending me this message.
He does though. Even like when I'd see him backstage, like it wasn't like, hi, bye, like real quick handshake, I'm in a rush. It's always like, hey, Daria, how are you? You know, like he's there.
Yeah.
I guess he wants you to know he's present and
That is such a superpower.
It is.
Of like, because everybody, no matter who you are, you're being pulled in a 1,000 different directions.
Right.
But to be right here, right now, in this exact moment, is such a superpower.
I wonder if he works on it or if it's just like natural for him, but he's very, very there.
I think even just being self-aware of that, even just us talking about it right now, is allowing me to be self-aware of like,
be in this moment.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
And like podcasting is one of the very few times in your life when you're not checking your phone.
100%.
When it's not buzzing in your pocket and going, oh, that might be important. Let me see. And then you're completely out of the conversation.
Yes.
Like we're here locked in for this hour.
Isn't it kind of therapeutic? Do you find it therapeutic?
Very.
I do too.
Yeah. Like, and I'm very fortunate that I just get to sit here and listen to you guys.
Right.
I just get to sit and listen to these great stories.
Right.
And like be present and go, well, what happened after that?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
That's so crazy.
Instead of going, oh, my phone buzzed. I wonder if that's Instagram or an email or.
But you're so right.
Maybe that's a text.
How often are you like talking with your friends and they're like on their phone while you're trying to tell a story? Yeah.
All the time.
Me too. Yeah.
Because
I'm guilty of it too.
Everybody does this.
Yeah.
And even though my phone is face down on the table, it still sends a signal to you of like, you're not that important.
100%.
Because if this thing buzzes, I'm going to grab it and
you're picking it up.
I'm still listening to you. Yeah,
it's the worst, right?
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
Isn't it crazy that we've gone off on a complete
That's okay. I
tangent
like
here.
it.
But isn't it crazy that a phone takes precedence over a human being that's in front of
does.
us? Oh, hold on 1 second. Oh, sorry. Hello? Yeah, 1 second. What?
So true.
There's a human in front of you.
No, you don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's at the click of a button. You need something else. It's that like, constant
I
dopamine.
think about that all the time.
I do too, to be honest. I have a family member, I won't out them, but they cannot sit here and have a conversation without being on their phone. And it drives me and my wife nuts. I'm like, come on, just put your phone down. And like, they're like, I'm listening. Just shopping on Temu. Like, they just can't.
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes me sad though, because it's like that obsession to the dopamine or the instant, gratification, whatever it is.
It's where we're at, and I wonder if the pendulum will swing back even
I
just
hope
a little bit, back to like being in this moment.
Yeah.
At this time.
I hope so. I think so.
Too.
When I look on my For You page and it's like all these people like homesteading and like getting chickens and ducks, maybe that's just my algorithm, but like, I'm like, oh, we're swinging the pendulum. Like people want to be outside and present, and
it feels like our generation is moving out. Like I have so many friends that have bought acres of land.
Yes.
Like you live on acreage.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that have left the where you can touch your neighbor's house.
100%.
And they now live where you can see your neighbor's house, but it's, a ways away.
I couldn't agree more. I think the same.
I have half a dozen friends that have done that.
Yeah. I think it's, I think there is a strong pull. Like I think our generation we are the ones, we were on the cusp. We saw both.
Right.
We still had the childhood where we rode our bikes around the neighborhood and played outside. But then now we're in this modern generation. So I think we're the ones that are like, no, we don't want to let go of what we know to be great as well.
Yeah.
Which is that past lifestyle.
And maybe it's because we're so connected when we open up our phone.
Right.
That we need something else that allows us to be disconnected if we want. Like you look out your window and you see trees.
So true.
I look out my window and I see not only the house next to me, but the house next to that and the house next to that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Because I live in suburbia.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. We were me and my wife were on the beach down in Manhattan Beach yesterday. And I was just like so weirdly happy to be like sitting on the beach with my feet in the sand. Like, and I tried as hard as I could not to be on my phone the whole time. But like sometimes just being outside in like nature, and this is so against my personality to like say that because I'm usually like go on to the next, but like lately I've been really like trying to ground myself more and just be outside more.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we just move too fast and then you kind of like, I think the distance between like who you really are, like your soul and you gets further. That's really deep. We went really deep, but
that was beautiful.
I just feel like we get disconnected.
No, we do. Thank you for coming in here. I'm so excited for what's next for you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And of course, and congrats on all the film roles.
Thank you. You know, you're one of my favorite people to talk to.
Me?
Mm-hmm. You are. Because you're really good at your job.
That's very kind of you.
It's very true.
Well, you are also very good at your job.
Oh, well, thank you.
But thank you.
I'm unemployed.
You're retired.
I'm retired.
You're retired, not
That's
unemployed.
Right. Yeah, retired sounds much better.
No, it's always great to chat with you, whether it's on camera or off camera.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming in here. Speaking of kind of what we were just talking about, gratitude's such a huge thing for me.
Yes.
You said grateful earlier on in the conversation. I went, yes, that's a good word.
That's it.
What are 3 things in your life that you're grateful for right here, right now?
The health of me and my family. Because I always, every day I remind myself like, wow, we're healthy. We don't have to worry about that. The ability to spend these more still moments with my family now that I have a little more time on my hands. It feels nice to not be in the hustle and bustle every 5 seconds. The ability to pursue my dreams again in another way.
I love that. Well, everybody needs to go listen to Unwrapped.
Yes.
And we'll look for your movie with Mick Foley.
Yes.
Maybe this Christmas, maybe next holiday season.
Who knows? 'Tis the season.
'Tis the season. Thank you again.
Thanks, Chris.